Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students of 10th C. This is our third lecture in the series of e-learning for chemistry for Cambridge. Dear students, this lecture is from the chapter number 12 according to your book and the topic number 9.1 according to CIA syllabus, and the topic is metals. Our objectives for today's learning will be to understand the following things regarding the metals. First of all, we will focus on the general physical properties of the metals. Then, an alloy as a mixture of a metal with other element with some examples. Representations of metals and alloys from the diagrams of structures. And then how alloys have different physical properties from the constituent elements. So these are the objectives for today's learning. So we are going to start with the periodic table, and in this periodic table you can see how much elements are metals. S block elements except hydrogen, D block, some elements from the P block and F block. So according to this periodic table, 91 elements are metals. So you can realize the importance of the metals. So now we are going to focus on the structure of the metals. From this picture, you can see the metals exist as giant structures in which a sea of free valence electrons is available to move through a lattice of positively charged ions. The metal ions in the metallic crystals can be regarded as spheres which in solid metals are packed together in a regular pattern of layers. When suitable forces are applied to the metals, these layers are able to slide over each other very easily. It is for this reason that many metals are malleable. And some other examples for the physical properties of metals. The first one, the melting point. Metals are solid at room temperature except hydrogen, and hydrogen is used in the thermometers for measuring the temperature. The second physical properties of the metal is the density. It's vary from less than water, which is sodium, to very dense lead. Aluminium is used in aircraft because of low density. Thermal conductivity. All metals conduct heat well. Aluminium and stainless steel used in cooking pans. Malleability. Metals can be bent into different shapes. Car bodies made of flat steel sheets. Strength. Some metals are strong. Iron used to make girders and reinforce the concrete. Electrical conductivity. All metals are good conductors as solid or liquid. Copper and aluminium used to make electrical wires. Besides these physical properties, some other properties metals do also have. These physical properties is a luster. Metals are highly shiny because they are able to reflect. Example is the polished aluminium used as reflectors in headlines. Ductility. The metals can be used to make the ducts. This is the ability of the metals to be drawn into the wires. This is called ductility. And now we are going to focus on the reactivity series of the metals. Students, this reactivity of metals shows you how metals are reactive and which are the most reactive and which are the less reactive. One method of determining the reactivity of metals is to consider their chemistry. Summarize the reactions of metals with water or steam or with the dilute acid. This provides a reactivity series. So you can see from this diagram that some metals are very reactive, even they react with the water. Some react with the acids. Hydrogen is also added in this, and some are very highly unreactive metals. So there are three categories for this purpose. The reactions of metals with water, steam, and the dilute hydrochloric acid all show the same trend in the reactivity. The group 1 metals are most reactive than group 2, then aluminium, and then the transition elements. Potassium generates so much heat when it reacts with the water that the hydrogen produced ignites. The flame is purple due to the presence of the potassium. Magnesium readily burns in air, giving an intense white light. Dear student, the reaction of different metals with dilute hydrochloric acid is mirrored by their reaction with the dilute sulfuric acid, but not with the dilute nitric acid. Because the dilute nitric acid is also an oxidizing agent and reacts with the metals differently than other metals, than other two mineral acids. Dear students, now we are going to focus on the position of the hydrogen in the reactivity series. The hydrogen is not a metal. It forms cations, H plus ions, and forms compounds with a range of anions in the same way as metals. For this reason, it is often included in the reactivity series. Hydrogen can also be used to reduce some metal oxides. So this is the property, that is why the hydrogen is included in this reactivity series. And secondly, it helps us to get the idea of the reactivity of other metals than the hydrogen. Are they more reactive than hydrogen or less reactive than hydrogen? On the alloys. What are alloys? An alloy is a mixture of metal with one or more other metals and or non-metals. So metals can be a mixture of metals with other metals or with non-metals. Pure metals consist of atoms of exactly the same size. They are able to form regular structures. The same is not true of alloys because they consist of atoms of different elements. These are different sizes and cannot be packed together as efficiently as pure metals. As a result of this, alloys generally have significantly different physical properties than the metals from which they are formed. By alloying copper with small proportions of different elements, it is possible to significantly modify its physical properties. So here are some examples which shows the properties of alloys. First of all, we are going to focus on the bronze, which is having 90% copper and 10% tin, and properties hard and strong, does not corrode easily, has shiny surface, and uses to build the statues and monuments and the making of medals, swords, and artistic materials. The second is the brass, which is having 70% copper, 30% zinc, harder than copper. Its property is it's harder than copper in making of musical instruments and kitchenware. Brass is used in making of musical instruments and kitchenware. Steel is having 99% iron and 1% carbon, hard and strong, and in the construction of building and bridges, in the building of body of the cars and railway tracks. Very important functions steel is performing. Stainless steel, 74% iron, 8% carbon, 18% chromium, shiny, strong, does not rust. To make cutlery and surgical instruments, these are the uses of stainless steel. Aluminium, 93% aluminum, 3% copper, 3% magnesium, and 1% manganese. Light and strong, and it is used to make the body of aeroplanes and bullet trains. Pewter, 96% tin, 3% copper, 1% antimony. It's very luster, shiny and strong metal in the making of souvenirs. This is used. So these are the different types of alloys with their properties and uses. Now we are going to focus on the displacement reactions, which I have selected for you. The displacement reactions of the metals you can easily understand. One is A is a metal and BC is a compound of two different, one metal and non-metal, and it can be, the B can be replaced by A, and A is going to take the position of the B and forming AC, and the B is getting separated from this reaction. So because the B is displaced by A, so such reactions with metals are called displacement reactions. Here is an example which I have selected for you for better understanding. This is a magnesium is a metal which is going to displace the zinc nitrate. The complete and the balanced equation is this. Since magnesium is higher in the series, magnesium will replace zinc and a reaction will occur. You can see the reactivity series. Magnesium is more reactive than zinc. That's why it is possible for magnesium to displace zinc. Otherwise, this is not possible. The 2 points to be remembered: we need to look at the activity series or reactivity series and compare the positions of the metals. If the metals is in the higher series, it can replace the bonded metal if it is in the lower series. Otherwise, no reactions can take place. So this is the principle, and we have to focus on the reactivity series. You can see that magnesium is going to displace the zinc and form the magnesium nitrate, and zinc is separated as a metal in this reaction. So such reactions in which one metal is displaced by another metal which is more reactive than the first one, this is called displacement reaction. Dear students, now we are going to focus on the principles of metal extraction. Here are few principles for the metal extractions. Most elements don't occur as separate substances but exist naturally as compounds. Metals tend to exist as metal oxides as part of ores which are excavated from the earth. To recover the metals from its oxide, the metal ion is split from the oxygen ion. Metals high up in the reactivity series have more stable oxides than those lower down, and due to this are more difficult to split up than those lower down. So these are the few principles on which the metal extraction is based. Now we are going to focus on the recycling of the metals. All metal ores are non-renewable sources. If metals ores are continually taken from the ground, then eventually supplies of metals will run out. One simple way to reduce the demand on these resources is to use waste metals, and this is called the recycling of the metals. But this recycling have some advantages and few disadvantages. Now we are going to focus on the advantages and the disadvantages. What are the advantages? It lowers the cost energy. When we use the metals by recycling, the cost energy will be reduced. It saves the resources, depletion of the resources will become less, and less waste will be produced, and the less pollutants. These are the gases which are evacuated when we extract the metals from the ores. So when there is no need to extract more metals from the ores, less pollutants will produce. Disadvantages: preventing the people throwing away the waste. They will keep it with them and provide it for recycling. And the transport cost: it is transported from different countries to different poor countries, so transport cost is a disadvantage for the recycling of metals. Dear students, now we are going to focus on your homework. Your homework is from the chapter number 12, past papers, question number 1 and 2, which is on page number 286. You have to do it and submit in your group on your time and the date which is mentioned in the daily diary. Thank you very much for being with me. Stay home and stay safe. Allah Hafiz.